All right.
Yeah. Hey everyone.
Whoa.
Welcome to the Heroes
Boy.
World
Oh
Quarantine
boy.
Podcast. I am your host, Stupe. With me is one of the owners and proprietors of Heroes World, that be Mr. John Ho. Please say hello.
What's up, folks?
And with our own personal variant, Mr. Cadet Gadet.
Oh, why? Hello, Captain Mon Captain. I am rocking a sweater vest, a burgundy sweater vest for those who are listening to us through the Spotify channels, because I got to tell you, it's cold in my basement. And I've realized that I didn't wear my slippers. I'm at that age where my feetsies get cold. So this is gonna, if you see me bouncing around a lot, it's because I'm rubbing my feet on this carpet. So
good to know.
That's when you come of age, when you're like, yo, slippers, they're actually kind of legit. And having a separate pair of clothing as your pajamas, like the actual flannel pajamas, you're like, oh, that's kind of legit.
When like after you turn 40, you're about now for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet. I still shorts.
Wait, so you're jumping into bed with like just your day clothes?
No, get out of town. That'd be
you
crazy.
Said a separate set of clothes. That's what you said.
No. You have like a dedicated pajama set instead of just like a t-shirt and shorts or something like that.
Yeah, John has a pair of personal
I have sleep shorts, buddy.
Pajama like onesies / it's basically the same thing that Ebenezer Scrooge wears. It's like a one
with a cap.
One dress
with the cap. Oh, the cap. Anyone who wears the cap at night, oh, you're a G. That'd be awesome. Call them up on FaceTime. They're wearing the cap. You're like, what's going on, man? I'm about to go to sleep, and you're like, oh, the cap. Yeah, sorry, man.
you don't want to FaceTime any Caucasian people though, because people might get the wrong idea. Like, what are you doing with that? Oh, it's just a sleep cap. All right.
Didn't know that was a thing. All right, there.
Not this Caucasian.
Join us today on our final review of Hawkeye episode 6. So this is Christmas. We are here to find out whether the combo breaker is upon us, whether John is not going to give this episode a 10.
Boy.
So we're going to go into that review. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about 2021, the year that was, the year of our Lord. We're going to just talk about some of the things that we watched and like that we haven't covered on the show. Many people have connected with us before going, hey, we know you guys like this, but tell us stuff that you're watching that you don't cover on this podcast. So we're going to share with you a couple shows, a movie, a comic book, things that we would recommend and we enjoyed thoroughly in the year 2021 that was outside of all the things we've covered. So there won't be any discussions of Dune or Venom or any of those things, but we'll go through cover other things.
Clearly, no more Dune, Scott. That's our last mention of Dune.
I still don't understand why Scott doesn't like Dune. I don't understand.
He doesn't. I understand it.
No, you don't. You don't understand it. You're just being nice. Nobody understands his disdain for Dune.
People don't like things. That's fine. He's from Minnesota. They have no sand there. Maybe he's just jealous. One of those things where he's just like, I don't understand sand. I'm in Minnesota. This is the thing. We have timber wolves. This is what happens.
Right.
There we go. So let's go into Hawkeye. This was the most anticipated episode so far on our scale. John has liked every episode. It's been 10 out of 10. John, give us your thoughts on this episode without spoiling it. What are you giving before you give us your ratings? Because again, we don't know. Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, so last episode I tried to temper my expectations for this because there is a lot of balls in the air, right? There's a lot of juggling going on. So I was worried that they were not going to be able to land this plane, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I actually got killed for it for a couple of people criticizing. I wasn't actually criticizing. I loved the whole macaroni and cheese conversation. It was just like, if I had to pick something in that episode, that was probably it, that I was like, hey, get this train moving. But yeah, so all that said, I think they did it. They did it. I don't know. I can't think of the last time where they have been able to, even in a movie wise, that they were able to just bring everything in. All
stick
these
the
cameos.
landing?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to use a different word other than stick the landing, but yeah, let's go with stick the landing.
Right. Were you then not also a fan of the elevator situation with the two characters? Is that why? Is it also a thing because you like the macaroni and cheese and then you inevitably
that was the perfect pick. I was stretching last episode. I was stretching, and if I had to pick something, I would have said, hey, you know what, they're kind of dancing around a little too much during this macaroni and cheese. The elevator scene, you're going to hear about it later when we go into full spoilers, where it ranks on my list of favorite things about this episode. But yeah, all things considered,
where does it rank with the Captain America elevator sequence? It's a question we're gonna go through. Where does it rank in Marvel's all-time elevator?
Well, that's a tough choice.
We're gonna go through it.
I'd have to see where those other elevator sequences are, if there are any, or is it only a discussion of two of them?
There's a few. There's a few. We'll go through it. Okay. Rob, what are your general non-spoiler thoughts?
Yeah, so you know what, this is what happens. We're nerds, we're geeks, and this show has delivered week after week after week, and we get ourselves all hyped up for the finale, and we probably screw ourselves over a bit by having such a high amount of anticipation that you can't overcome it. So I, like John, tried to rein back my expectations a bit and remembered that the show is, as long as the show stays true to what it's been these previous 5 episodes, then that's all that matters to me. They'll stick the landing, they'll tie it all up, but they don't have to go grandiose. They don't have to go, Zack Snyder third act of a movie where it's crazy. And they did it. They achieved what they were meant to go out to do. As John said, they were able to, using John's own words, shuffle a lot of balls and get things done properly. They've tied up. They've left a nice little opening. There's a conclusion to this series. There's a little bit of a cliffhanger, but not really. There's enough that it says, "Oh, I wonder what would happen next."
There's not really. A lot of them feel like backdoor pilots to another show. We get a finale for one show. We get a pilot for like the next thing that they're going to do.
Yeah, but I felt like you could watch these 6 episodes and it's an enjoyable meal. It's a 6-course meal and that's it. And you're not left going, "Ooh, I guess I should have ordered the creme brulee." Like, it's everything you wanted it to be. So listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. And this episode cemented my position. It's my favorite Marvel Disney Plus series. So
all right, so let's go to the ratings. John, what are you giving out of 10?
All right, Stu, you didn't have any thoughts before we give our ratings?
I think I like both of you enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed a little bit of the pivoting that it did. I wasn't expecting certain things to turn out the way it did. I was happy. Again, the chemistry between Jamie Renner and Haley Steinfeld are tremendous, and Haley and with Florence, that trifecta. I could do a show just with the 3 of them on a Winnebago traveling across the country. I'm all in. Sign me up. So without going into spoilers, I'm just happy that one of the characters that we were anticipating came back and was more interesting in a sense than what he was before. So we'll go into that. But John, what do you give it out of 10?
So I think the streak is definitely not broken. It's going to at least get a 10 out of 10. I'm debating on if I should crack the ceiling or am I reserving it for some other crazy thing we're going to watch. But on the horizon, I don't really see anything that's going to do that for me. So I feel like I have to give it here while the giving's good. You know what I mean? The fact that they were able to
it's Christmas.
Yeah, in the spirit of Christmas and giving. Thank you, Rob. I'm gonna give it the 11. It's gonna break the 10.
Wow.
I think I thought some things were gonna get left hanging, and they didn't. Everything I think was very satisfactory for the completion of this, and I'm gonna be able to enjoy watching these 6 episodes again and again. So bearing in mind all the homework you have to do before it, but as a separate entity, I think as a conclusion, it works fantastically well. And for TV shows in general, sometimes they just can't end well. They either have to set up a next season, or they get canceled, or it just doesn't live up to the hype, and maybe they've just stayed a little too long over their welcome or whatever. So I think I have to crack it for this particular situation. So 11 out of 10.
Wow. Rob?
It's interesting because I felt that there was a bit of a momentum drawback a little bit. And so at the beginning, I was like, I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about this. There's one scene, and we'll get into it after, that really kind of takes me out of things. And I'm like, oh man. But that being said, they did such a phenomenal job. I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10 on this. Otherwise, it's a 9.5. like on paper, but my heart's going to give it a 10. So,
Okay, cool.
and Stu, I know you don't give anything 10s.
Nope. It's a 9,
so
baby. It's a
it's a
9.
9?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
It's pretty much stayed a 9 for you the whole time, I think, Steve.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the last special thing at the end was a treat. I didn't expect it because I finished it watching it and I'm like, man, they have 10 minutes left. I'm like, wow, these are end credits. These are ridiculous end credits. And I'm like fast forwarding and watching the whole thing happen. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna give us the entire thing.
Right.
So
to which I will, to quote my son, said, "This is the worst end credit scene of all time. This is horrible." He hated every minute of it. So
I understand why he hated it, but at the same time, I understand why people would love it.
Sure.
So maybe he's just not into that yet.
He's 12, almost 13. So of course he's not going to be into that.
Yeah, you'd be like, you just got to remind him, hey buddy, it's going to be worse before it gets better. This is probably the best you're going to do, because
right.
I'm sure we've all been dragged to something like that, and it hasn't been that much fun. So yeah. Anyways, all right, here we go. Spoilers. So we're going full spoilers now into it. So if you have not watched, please pause and come back. But here we go. So
just press the pause button.
John, so Devils, give us your thoughts. Now you can go. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so without going wild, I'm sure you guys are going to touch on a lot of other subjects like Kingpin's outfits and other various fun stuff in the episode.
That is comic book accurate.
Yeah,
that's from a Spider-Man.
The shirt
comic.
was wild. The hat was wilder.
that Hawaiian shirt and the white thing is from a Spider-Man comic, so it's like on one of the covers.
And the cane, the diamond cane. That's like, did he ever have that in Daredevil? I don't think he ever had it, right?
Yeah.
He did in the Daredevil series.
I'm fairly. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the comic. In the Netflix series, no, I mean
the Netflix series. I don't know if he ever had the cane with the jewel on top.
No,
which is
I don't.
100% one of his trademark looks. Yep. Maybe he did. Maybe we're forgetting or whatever. But I'm sure you guys are going to bring that up. So I whipped together my quick top 5, but it's kind of cheating because I would need an additional 5 to rank my favorite Elena and Kate Bishop moments. So spoiler alert, that's number 1, and I'll go through what I really liked about that. So I had to choose different scenes, otherwise it was going to be top 5 list of just that entire moment. She totally stole the episode for me. But so number 5 is let's build some fancy trick arrows montage.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Stu got a real kick out of that. I don't know if one of your questions later, Stu, is what is your favorite arrow? But I'll save my answer. Yeah, I'll save my answer for that later.
Yep.
But the fact that they're building these arrows, they're building these arrows, and then Kate's labeling them, which is great. I'm like, I don't know when you're gonna have
comic accurate. It's done that
before.
I don't know
how
in a
you're
Hawkeye
gonna have time to look at those. Although I do feel that the too dangerous arrow wasn't quite as dangerous as they would have led you to believe.
I don't think she used the too dangerous arrow.
Yeah, she did.
She detonated it at the end. She did the coin toss.
Yeah, with his cufflink.
And, so Kingpin should have been the splatter if that angel.
Well, he's not the same Kingpin as Daredevil. So one is super strong.
Yeah,
can take a licking.
Yeah.
Like
Daredevil, that
Daredevil.
He's very comic booky in this. Yeah,
the comic book Kingpin
set.
has the strength and the ability of like a super athletic, agilic sumo wrestler. He is, like basically a top linebacker. Like he's super strong. And then the Daredevil TV show, they didn't make him that strong at all. They just made him just big and just getting the face beat up from Daredevil. This one is like he's just taking hits and arrows and just like, yep, I'm going to keep on coming. So it was So the power level is in question, so maybe that wasn't, but arrow montage, great scene. I'm glad we got it. I didn't expect it or think we were going to get something like that. I thought we were done with trick arrows for the rest of the episode, but we got a wicked scene with it. Next one is the Swordsman. I don't remember what his name was in the
Jack Duquesne.
Jack Duquesne. Yeah. So already you're not going to be taken seriously with your handlebar mustache. And next thing he does is he rocks his sword on his hip during the party. Yeah. And I was like, yo, okay, I love this guy. Before I was like, this is lame. This guy's not lame, but this guy's so obviously a red herring villain for this. Although I did kind of think for a second there he was the actual bad guy. but it looked like he just wanted swords. He was just a guy who liked to collect swords. But yeah, he rocks it. And then later on in the end, when they're fighting and the building's coming down, and they're like, get everybody out, and then they over grills or someone's shoulder, you just see him sword fighting guys, and you're just like, oh no, he's with us, he's good. I was like, okay, I love this guy. This guy's great. So fantastic use of that character and the gags, and then you have a little closing thing for him where he's talking to the LARPer, and there's like, oh, so what are you doing later? You want to join my guild type thing? So that was pretty cool. So I actually do hope that character, I thought I wasn't going to want to see him again, but I do hope he comes back eventually. Number 3, am I on number 3? I'm on number 3. Number 3 is the Give Him Hell. I don't know if that's a quote from Avengers or some other movie, when Hawkeye turns to Kate and goes, let's give him hell or whatever. But that sequence on the ice where you see all the trick arrows in action, you see how many of these freaking tracksuit guys there are.
I know, it was crazy.
Yeah, which was incredible. It was like a flood of dudes, and I'm like, I don't think they're gonna win this. How did they win this? It's impossible.
Very Christmassy. You know, it's the red and the green, the different colors.
Oh yeah. They had an alternate green tracksuit,
yeah,
which was great. So that whole sequence of them working together and taking all the bad guys and stuff like that. Although I do question when they're smashing people in the face with the compound bows, how sturdy are those? I feel like the bows would break, but I guess they have to be really strong.
John, they're falling out of buildings and not having a scratch or thing on them. Don't worry about.
Yeah. Kate,
what happened to the owl? Did he save the owl?
You mean Rocky the Owl, the famous owl of Rockefeller Center? That story existed like 4 years ago, when they cut the tree and they put it up and they found an owl in there, so they had to spend the time to capture the owl, and they named it Rocky. And then you can buy a children's book about Rocky the Owl that lives in that tree on Rockefeller Center. So I think you can buy that book for your girls, John, going forward. So about Rocky the Owl.
Yeah. Well, man. So shout outs to the owl. That was definitely a moment. I thought he was going to be
also going to eat those people
after that.
So 100% going to murder people.
Oh yes.
The thing is, like, I gotta like, what's going to happen? Is like, I don't know. Ask Scott, and then the owl comes and like picks it up.
It wears off.
Does it?
Isn't the idea the pin particles always wear off and then eventually the thing becomes big?
No, you have to throw the one that biggins it.
The bigs it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I don't remember Ant-Man at all. But anyways, so then we'll go to my number 2. Number 2 is Kate's the speech that, hold on, let me see which speech it was. Sorry, I'm fresh.
The one with the mom
here.
The one where she's talking Hawkeye, where I saw you in the building.
Yeah. What? Yeah, exactly.
You showed me that heroes don't have to wear capes or shoot laser beams from their hands.
That speech and the look on her face when she's delivering it, like, I had to give something to her because her performance throughout the series has been just amazing. So she is definitely an actress to watch going forward. Like, I definitely loved her in Bumblebee.
Nominated for Academy Award. I think that something to watch went out the window a while ago.
Okay, so anyway, I believe she was
on my radar when she got nominated for Academy Awards. So she was like a little.
Good for her. I don't typically watch Academy Award nominated movies, so it's not.
We know
in my wheelhouse. So
we know. Yeah,
we know. With that being said, someone who's now on one of my favorites, I guess I would say. Like, she definitely deserves it. That speech was phenomenal. Shout outs to the whole Hawkeye saying, "Oh, we're partners" speech, which was also a great speech, but this one definitely trumps it in the look on her face when she's delivering it. Like, you inspired me if you didn't get kind of like a little bit teary. And then number 1 has got to be this whole Elena and Kate Bishop interaction. Like, I can't narrow down which one. I think I want to throw it out to the elevator scene, but there's so much that they do together that is amazing that you're just like, wow. And again, Florence just oozes charisma and charm in this. Like, she totally steals. Like, if I just watch this episode and you're like, well, this is actually the Black Widow show, I would be like, yeah, it is totally 100%. But I think I'll choose the elevator scene because it was really funny when Kate tries to do a move and then she's like, what was that? Like, what was that? And then she does another move and pulls off her pulls off her shirt, her jacket, or her dress, and it's her Hawkeye costume. And then she's like, did you plan that? And she's like, yeah, totally. And then she's like, no, you didn't. And then she hits all the elevator buttons and she's like, that's so annoying.
Like the elf, like an elf.
Yeah, despite the whole scene that follows it after where they're fighting through all the hallways. I don't know if you guys are going to shut that out, but the elevator scene just has so many kind of just nuances. You get a little bit of everything. So that's my favorite things about this episode. And I could go on, but I want to let you guys get in on there.
Good. Rob, thoughts?
Yeah, so I you know, as we've kind of just touched on, this is a vastly different Kingpin than what we had originally. I'm glad D'Onofrio is back embodying this character. There's some similarities in his presentation and how he's as the Kingpin, but there's a lot of new things that he's doing. His voice sounds a little bit different. The facial expressions, there's a lot of tics and muscle movements in his cheeks to contain that rage and anger. His body, his presence, the way he got really right up and close in people's faces. To be honest with you, I thought
he's like there. I'm like, how close does uncomfortable become?
Right, yeah, but that's his purpose, right? Like that's what he's doing it purposefully. I was surprised at how much Kingpin we got. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we'd get a little bit, but I was very pleasantly surprised at how much we did get out of him. I loved the power up, as John was saying, the power level, but I thought that it was, again, more comic book accurate, which is what a lot of these MCU shows have been kind of movies been kind of pulling from, right? So like there's at least something a bit familiar. Not that it was bad in the Daredevil Netflix series, but this just feels like he's more powerful, more menacing, more of a threat, of an Avengers level threat, right? So I like that. John mentioned a lot of the aspects of that was great. Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner once again, emoting the drama. Haley Steinfeld is just yeah, she's just such a pleasure to watch throughout this entire series. She's heartfelt, she's funny, like she's got such a great grasp of humor and delivery of lines, and even like the unexpected lines, right? And how she's doing things is just so funny. The unintentional comedy, right? The trick arrows were fine. There was something I was going to mention that I really liked, and for whatever reason I've now lost it. But overall, like I just thought it. Oh, I know what it was. I was laughing. First of all, that Jack Duquesne stuff. So like, we all thought, this is going to be the bad. It's Swordmaster. We knew things were happening. We thought when you got to episode 3 or 4, when he's holding the sword against Hawkeye's throat, when they break into the condo or whatever, you're like, this is it, Swordmaster, this and that, and none of it happens. And even today, when I was watching it, I was like, maybe he's walking around with that sword at the party. Maybe he's like flexing, and it's not. And then I start to realize, man, it was a fake out. But it was such a pleasantly well-loved. Like, I'm going to go back and rewatch this, and I'm going to enjoy and just savor his scenes again, because again, this guy was like a master of comedy as well in the way he did things. When he was arguing with that little bratty kid, and he's like, I remember when you peed your pants in wherever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was just so funny. I was like, oh my God, this is like, honestly, guys, like this is like a guy like I wish was like my uncle. That he'd be the uncle that you want to come in.
Charming old man that like you can see why Eleanor Bishop would like him, because even we talked about the episodes before, he does the colloquial like sayings wrong, but he does it in like a fun way where he just gets it a teeny bit off. Like he knows it, but just a little bit off, and you're just like, and then he's like, let's just dance, it'll be fun, and all this other stuff. You're like, I can see why,
So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that stuff. They tied everything up. Like there's no loose ends that I can think of that I have left me scratch my head wondering. They didn't. Okay, but that was perfect. What I'm saying though is the loose ends that of the storylines throughout the course of this season, of this 6 episodes. Nothing's left dangling that I'm wondering. They never really addressed what happened in episode. Like it's all been tied up so neatly. Like it was just so well done. The one aspect that I didn't like, and see you later, John, is when
mode.
is when Eleanor gets arrested. Like I just felt like they wrote that in. It felt really weird. It felt out of place with the entire episode. And the speech about it is that what you do, Kate? On Christmas, you have your mother arrested. And I was just like,
You arrest your mother.
yeah, it just felt so weird. And like the cop comes up and he goes, Eleanor, you're under arrest for the murder. And I was like, well, how did anybody know? I mean, like it was not that long ago. You guys were like, downloading that information on your phone. Yeah. And let's be honest with you, if the cops were there, they'd be like taking Kate Bishop into custody and everything else. Like it just seemed a little bit bizarre. So, but that was my one quibble, I guess you could say, of the show, that it drew me out a little bit. I felt that was just not the strongest scene. But man, I'm gonna tell you guys, I love the show. I'm gonna go back and watch it. This will be probably, I haven't watched any of the other ones again. But this one I would totally watch all 6 episodes. I would sit down on an afternoon and watch them again.
I have gone back to watch some episodes of the past shows, but only selected episodes, like Hawkeye episode 1. Oh no, Loki episode 1 and Loki episode 6. Like there are certain Loki episode 5. I've kind of I think Loki is probably the one that I've gone back to the most. WandaVision, I think I've gone back to only watch the last episode, and then Falcon Winter Soldier episode 3 when they go to Madripoor, and that's pretty much it. Like a lot of these other shows, I just kind of, to your point, aren't very memorable. But Hawkeye is one of those things where from 1 to 6, it's been a consistent experience. And it's been just a fun, enjoyable, watch to the beginning to the end. But I think just because the scale is different. We talked about in the previous podcast about difficulty, and this is not the big.
You have to be in a mood to watch the bigger show.
Yeah, this was like a very what Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the New York characters do so well. It's a very contained. We're in New York only. Like, here's some things that happen. Like, we're not going to go to Bulgaria to fight off super robots. And Mackie would say, it's aliens, robots, or wizards. So it was nice to just see regular people.
Stu's jam, wizards,
and not worry about wizards. Which the multiverse of madness will be. Give me all the wizards I need. So it was very nice to see that.
I hope Fred Savage is there to appease you as the wizard.
The wizard with the power glove.
Yeah. So then, do you think we saw Kingpin get shot? What are your thoughts? Is he dead, or does he fall into the adage of movies, when you don't see the person die, they're not dead?
No, I think for sure. There's 2 scenarios that I think, and the one that's more probable is the second one I'm going to mention. So the first one is Maya does something, maybe she blows out his ear, make him deaf as well. Or the most plausible thing is someone else shoots Maya, she goes down, Kingpin goes free, and she survives.
Oh, interesting. Rob?
Yeah, I actually I probably agree with because what was the dude, Alexi? No, what was his name? The guy that Hawkeye. Cassie, thanks. He knocked him out. He wasn't dead. So yeah, I probably agree with John.
Cassie has an arrow in him, doesn't he?
Shanked. He got shanked.
Yeah.
Gut.
Yeah. That's
but
right.
Maybe he struggles up.
Maya, because he's like, I can't get out of here.
Right.
I can't live in between the two worlds.
But you don't see him. Yeah. Listen, the fact of the matter is, you didn't even see the silhouette of anybody falling or anything else. There's a Disney Plus show. You would have camera pans in a silhouette, you would have seen him. Nothing. So the camera goes right up a building. He's not dead. He's not been shot. My understanding is that this actress, as Echo, as her comic book alias, is going to be in other properties. I fully expect that we're going to see more Kingpin, probably sooner than later. And we'll be tied in with Echo as well. So I'm not. I think it's a good little coin out there just to say we're gonna come back to this maybe in 2022, 2023, but we'll revisit this. So
John, in regards to elevator sequences, you have Captain America Winter Soldier elevator fight sequence. You have Thor and Loki in the elevator going up, having that conversation. Do the help me or something like that, right? Get help.
Yeah, get help.
And then I thought we'd be brothers forever, but that's not me. I'm me and you're you. You have that elevator sequence. There's been a few Marvel elevator sequences. What is the number one still?
It's really tight. So third place is that Thor Loki one. Second place, I'm gonna probably give it to this Hawkeye sequence of the two of them in the elevator. Number one still has to go with Cap taking on.
And then the
all
other
those,
one
like,
is and the other one is the two Cap elevator ones, right? There's the one where he fights
that one's not.
and then the other one where
he
he's like, he goes in the elevator with everyone and he's like, Hail Hydra, and then he gets the scepter. So technically that's an elevator sequence too.
No. The three I think you had originally are right, and I think the number one is still got to go to Cap. That's such a great sequence in that movie. Yeah.
John, can I ask you though, if I was to throw a curveball at you, let's say the elevator sequence from, I don't know, like say True Lies. Now how does that change your ranking?
True Lies elevator sequence is they're going up the elevator, Arnold's on the horse.
Right, but the old couple is there on the motorcycle. Who've just seen the ballet or whatever, and
Okay, we all know I am an Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, and if we were to do a top 5 movies, we might be doing the 90s bracket very soon in the Sidekick Show. True Lies is in my top. I think I've mentioned this to Stu before. I'm like, if True Lies is in my top 5 movies, is that respectable? And he was like, yeah, it's actually pretty legit. So I have to give it to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Harry Rehnquist in True Lies.
Okay. Rob, elevator sequences, is John correct? Do you have any amendments to make to that?
Nope, he's good.
Okay. Trick arrows, John, we talked about before. Which is your favorite trick arrow that you watched them all produce?
My favorite, which I thought was the funniest, and it's one of the first ones out the gate, is the ice leg. I don't know why it's only the leg.
I forgot about that one.
That's right. It's hilarious. Like she shoots, I don't remember who shoots it, and then it freezes the guy's leg, and he just falls over. And I'm like, why is it only the leg? Why is it only one guy? Why is it like a big blanket?
But she shot him in the leg. That's why.
But why didn't it turn his whole? Why didn't he? Like,
that's hypothermia, John. You would die immediately if you're covered in ice.
His leg's gonna fall off.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get that like amputated, but yeah, for sure. But he won't die.
He shouldn't have been a bad guy, so leg amputation. That's right.
Rob,
I was gonna go more practical. I was gonna say the magnetic one because that like completely de-armed everybody pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like you see like it going all around the light poles and everything else, and the railings around the walkway. So I was like, oh, that took out everybody's weapons with one shot. So I was going practical. John went. He has a better answer though.
I feel, no boxing glove. What is yours?
I feel the Rocket Raccoon arrow that parsed in the guy, and then all of a sudden, it was like
a porcupine almost.
The porcupine thing, I think Rocket Raccoon did the exact same thing. Guardians, like I feel like. It's interesting because Hawkeye just meets all these people. It's like, how can I turn all your tech into arrows? Like stuff from like Rocket Raccoon, stuff from like Tony Stark, stuff from like Steve, like stuff from Scott Lang. Like he basically. I thought
you were gonna pick the inflatable like mattress thing that sends guys
the balloon.
Yeah, that was fine. But I think the porcupine thing was hilarious because he was like, one guy's like and then also it shoots out, and all the other guys like they all fall down, and like this thing. I feel that Hawkeye is kind of one of those guys that's like, hey, help me out with these arrows, and everyone's like, yeah, it's fine, it's bows and arrows, cool, let's just add something to the tip of it. So I feel like he just has the most opportunity to work with smart people to add stuff to it. So that was it. Were you disappointed that Spider-Man was not in this movie, John?
Spider-Man? No, yeah, definitely. He did not have a place in here.
Rob, you? Were you not happy with the flip coming out of nowhere all of a sudden, like and just grab
I thought that
this was your idea, right? This was your.
No. I had read it somewhere, and I was
sorry. Like, no Spider-Man spoilers. I guess we gotta watch out.
No, but you see him flying it like swinging in the Rockefeller Center, like
I think I was holding out hope, but upon retrospect, like I was happy that they didn't. I would have been like, oh, it just felt a little bit out of place, probably like stunt casting almost. So I was glad. But there's still that part on the board already. But there's still that piece of me that would have been, like I didn't realize we were gonna get the whole entire Rogers the musical song. So I thought that maybe the mid-credit scene was gonna be something kind of like that. It would have been
maybe Daredevil at least.
No, I thought no, because they're not gonna. Well, unless it was Matt Murdock, they're not gonna drop a costume just on a mid-credit scene like this. So, I figured for sure it was going to be something to tie into the end of No Way Home, but that's fine. It is what it is.
No, it is super fun to watch. Like I said before, the next show we have look forward to is after Hawkeye. I think is Ms. Marvel. Is that correct?
I thought it was
Yeah, I think
She-Hulk. I
Is it
thought Ms.
She-Hulk?
Marvel got moved.
Oh yeah, the show. Oh man.
Actually, you know what? In all fairness, they haven't actually given any release
Because
dates. It just said
technically-
2022.
Technically, it could be anything between Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Ms. Marvel, or
Secret Invasion hasn't started filming yet, those two.
We've
I
seen
think
the
Moon
most
Knight's-
Miss Marvel though.
I think Moon
the
Knight.
trailer for Miss Marvel was decently long.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel's in post production. So is Moon Knight, and so is She-Hulk. So I can imagine any of those being the.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen the most Miss Marvel though. I think we've seen the most. Of it.
No,
Like
we
the-
haven't.
like-
No.
No,
Like the trailer that they showed a lot of different scenes and stuff like that.
we could say the thing about Moon Knight because Moon Knight had that one trailer and showing all the
Well,
stuff.
same
I feel
for
like the
She-Hulk.
Moon Knight was just a glimpse. I feel like Moon Knight was just a glimpse of what was.
Yeah, but the Ms. Marvel stuff was behind the scenes stuff that has nothing to do with it. Like here's the behind the scenes stuff with the character, and you're like, if you add that with the thing, it's probably the exact same as Moon Knight. And Moon Knight, I think it's supposed to be 6 episodes. Ms. Marvel
Mhm.
6 episodes. Secret Invasion 6 episodes. The only thing that's like 10 episodes is She-Hulk, but
Yeah.
She-Hulk is way different than because I think that one's like a half an hour like
Yeah.
legal comedy show. So then
Yeah,
it's going to be
so-
way different.
So we'll see. But Stu, so Hawkeye never one of your favorite comic characters
No,
in the MCU. Do you
No.
rank Hawkeye higher than? No, it's still.
no, I always made the joke that it's the world's mightiest Avengers, and he's not the mightiest heroes. He's not the mightiest of anything. Like he's just a regular dude. And I always made a joke that like, you know, when he was in that costume, I'm like, you have Thor, you have Iron Man, you have Hulk, all these like super cool characters, and then there's just Hawkeye. I guess he's there just to, you know, valet park the vehicles and like, you know, check things going on with Jarvis and like some tea and whatnot. So like I get, again, the character's fine. He's supposed to be the everyman, and
Did he not be maybe the QB or something? Like he sets up, like he takes that shot that everybody else sets up for him and commits the finishing blow.
I like having. Listen, I like it. You got gods and monsters and tech experts, and you have a super soldier, and you know, I thought it was kind of nice that you had like your reasoning should also apply to Black Widow. She's just a trained
Assassin,
normal like assassin, right? She has no superpowers, so
Yep.
I think it's kind of nice that you had those two in there. Hey, the one thing we did forget to mention, guys, is Agent 19.
I was going to
Mocking-
mention that. I was
Oh,
gonna
were you?
mention that.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
you know, I was going to mention that at the very end because they go to the farmhouse, and it was nice to see them with the family, and I knew when they pulled up because they panned away. I tried to look inside
Yeah.
the car. I'm like, is it one person
Yeah.
or 2 people?
Yeah,
And when he was cleaning us up, and then he was like, "Are you
I
coming?"
was
And I was
worried
like,
something bad was going to happen. I was
I
worried
knew,
that the
but
family was gone or
you
something.
know, but again, when you get to watch and it's, you know, Agent 19, there are conversations that maybe she is Mockingbird and she's Bobby.
Mhm.
I don't really worry about that. It's people, I'm sure all the Agents of Shield people are like, but what about the other actress? I'm like, multiverse, who cares? Like, do we care who is, you know, the characters?
no, yeah, it's a small contingent of people, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. That show did not have a lot of eyeballs on it, so I don't think anybody really gives a
I
shit.
watched all of it, but it doesn't mean you know.
I know, but you watch everything. Like, to be fair, like that's just, and it's not a slight against you. You just do. You watch a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
for you to say, "Well, I watched it," like it's not earth shattering. John's like, "Oh, I've watched all of them." I'd be like, "Wait, that makes no sense because you watched nothing."
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people were banking on that to be a bigger deal, though. Clint's wife and the Rolex. So I can see why some people might be disappointed by that.
Mm.
I didn't really put a lot of stock in there, so I liked it. It was just kind of little like, well, here's your watch. Keep track of your stuff.
yeah,
And
so
it
losing
probably
your
just
shit.
it probably just means something to her. Some people were like, it's a tracking device. It's it's like something else or whatever. But I'm like, no, it's cool that it was just her watch. It maybe means something to her.
And maybe when he was wearing it when she blipped, and that's why he was keeping her.
Oh yeah.
memory alive. So,
Well, I really wish
though.
though when he gave his like this watch. Do you know what I had to do to get this watch?
I think if you have a wife that understand it, you're not going to pull that type of crap where she basically let him.
Yeah.
fight
She
people
was. She
till
knew what was
Christmas
going
Day.
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you're not getting my reference.
I know.
Christopher Walking reference
know.
on. All right. With Pulp
I
Fiction.
put these pants one leg at a time, like everyone else. Got it, Rob. I know, but I'm not making platinum albums. This. I have a fever. And the only thing that stopped this fever is more cowbell. Okay, so yeah, I'm I don't know what the next show is going to be. WandaVision, The Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye. It goes out saying both of you like Hawkeye the most.
Big shoes to fill for me. For me, at least.
But just think about what you just said, though. Like that, and then like the second half of this year, we also got 4 movies from Marvel. Like 2021's been a bizarre year, right? And to think that we've had 5 TV shows, right? Or 5 TV shows?
1, 2, 3, 5 TV shows.
5 TV shows and 4 movies.
Are we including Venom in the movies? Is that
No.
what you're saying?
No. But you had,
but it's gonna be at the
but you
bottom.
had Black Widow, you had Shang-Chi, you had the Eternals, and you had Spider-Man.
And are you not including the Venom 2 in that? That's 5.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. So to have those 4 MCU movies in the span of 6 months, and then on top of that, these TV shows, like honestly, Marvel has completely ruled 2021 when it has come to entertainment output. It's amazing. We really thought we were going to be a dry year because of COVID, and we
still could. We'll see. At least for the plus side, they've already filmed and completed Moon Knight, She-Hulk. They're filming Secret Invasion and Ms. Marvel. So we'll see. And then we have all that stuff, including the Untitled House of Agatha Harkness. We have an Echo TV show. We have a bunch of stuff going on. So more What If season 2 and Loki season 2. So
and Hawkeye season 2 at some point, because this was a season finale, not a series finale.
Did they?
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
It's listed as a season finale.
Huh.
I'm down. Sign me up.
Interesting. All right.
They already have your money,
Did
John. You signed up.
Yeah, I know. Is this your favorite Marvel thing then, Stu? Since you already rattled off the list. You gave us a 9. I don't remember what you gave Spider-Man. I think you gave Spider-Man also 9 because you refused to give things 10s.
No, he gave Spider-Man a 9.9. He said, "I'm going to get as close to 10 without committing to a 10."
Close to 10 without going to it. Yeah. Spider-Man.
And just for those who are wondering, we have
Spider-Man wins.
Our review is coming out. I think it's dropping probably after this, right? So our review of Spider-Man, so you'll understand that reference.
I don't know when it's going to drop, but John will. I think Spider-Man should drop on Thursday, so they should have this already, and then this is dropping on Sunday. So we're fine. Yeah. Whenever this is filmed or recorded. Okay, so let's. Needless to say, we're excited for more MCU stuff. We're gonna go. Let's talk about TV shows of 2021. Rob, we've reviewed a lot of things this year. We've talked about 5 Marvel TV shows. We've talked about He-Man. We've talked about all these TV shows that we talked about, including Witcher and all the TV shows that I've forced you to watch. What's a show that you have really enjoyed this year that we haven't talked about or done an official review on this podcast?
Yeah, so I wrote a couple down. I'm going to just go right off the bat with the most. I have 3. The most obvious was Squid Games. We never discussed Squid Games. It was a massive phenomenon across the world. It was the highest watched Netflix property, I think, of all time. It came out at the end of September. Phenomenal show. If you've been living under a rock and you've never seen it, I definitely would recommend it. I've watched a lot of stuff, guys. But Narcos Mexico season 3 is the final season of the Narcos property. It's okay. I think if you're a completionist, you're going to want to watch it. If you've seen them all, but to be honest with you, no, but it's okay. But to be honest with you, the original Narcos, when it was just Narcos with Pablo Escobar, those 2 seasons were phenomenal. And they never got past that. But the one show that I watched that I kind of heard a little bit of buzz about, but I discovered myself this year. So yes, I've seen a bunch of other ones like The Succession, Ted Lasso's The Morning Show, but was For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus. Season 2 had come out earlier this year. I didn't see season 1, and sometime I think in the spring or summer, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And I blew through those the 2 seasons. It was great. It's a revisionist history of what would happen if the Russians were the first ones to land on the moon as opposed to the Americans back in the 60s. And then to see the progression and how things change. And so talk about a multiverse. It's a different, point of view of what would happen. And, cell phones are invented way earlier because the US is trying to, capitalize and catch up stuff. And there's moon bases and everything else. So it's definitely worth the watch. I think people will really enjoy it. If you get past the first episode into the second episode, you start to realize what they're doing. But For All Mankind would probably be my hidden gem of 2021 that I discovered.
John?
Yeah. So shout outs to, like Rob mentioned, Squid Game and any of those dramas or whatever thrillers from overseas. Like it wasn't really my jam, but the cinematography and the way they put the show together, shooting, it looks like they shoot everything on location, which is it gives it like a really crazy look. So shout outs to those shows. If you've never tried them, definitely at least try a couple episodes just to see. It's got a very unique feel that I feel like TV over here doesn't have. Since I don't really get to, these guys are already making fun of me because I don't watch anything. I discovered a new show, so hopefully Stu's maybe watched it. But Mayor of Kingstown, which is a new Paramount Plus show with our boy Jeremy Renner. So I think Jeremy Renner is slowly becoming one of my favorite guys. I really like him in this show. I've only watched one episode, which I have a funny story to go along with it. But in Tag,
how can it be like your favorite series if you've only watched one episode?
Because I don't watch anything else, right? So this is something I just watched. The trick is I went to watch episode 1 and I must have goofed something up and put on episode 2. So Stu, I don't know if you've seen this show at all, but
I haven't.
In watching episode 2 only, I was completely lost. I didn't know what was going on. But Jeremy Renner is some type of like fixer type character who works with looks like the mob, the police, the prison system, all this kind of thing. He's like in the center, and he's just this kind of guy who's doing all this kind of stuff. And watching only episode 2, I was very confused, but I really loved it. I loved the pacing. I loved his performance. I love these character interactions, the greediness. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Shield. So I think you're going to dig it, Rob, if you ever get a chance. And I think Paramount Plus, you can sign up for like a free month trial.
Right now, it's actually on for like 90% off. I think it's $6 a month, and it's like 90% off. I when I first signed up when it first came out, so I gave up on it.
Yeah,
but...
so some of these shows I'll turn on, but this one I was like I was just glued to my seat going, what's going on? I want to see more of these characters. So tonight I'm going to watch episode 1 proper, and hopefully I'll tank through the rest of them. So I think that's going to be my favorite show because I don't really watch a lot other than what we covered here.
John, you didn't go with the show that I recommended to you to watch.
Yeah. But we've mentioned it during the podcast.
I know, but
what show?
Outer Banks? Are you talking about Outer Banks?
Oh, okay.
I do really like. I've only watched episode 1 and 2 so far of that one too. But yeah, that one I actually really just enjoyed the feel of it, and I need a little bit of the teen drama in my life.
You're such an
idiot. I know.
I was gonna shout out Riverdale, but for some reason I can't get back into it ever since they got past season like 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a slog.
So
no,
yeah.
Outer Banks is. You should continue watching it, John. I'm surprised you haven't watched. It's the pitch. It's Dawson's Creek meets Fast and the Furious. That's all you need to know. It's perfect.
John, you did watch Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
but you did like those episodes.
But we talked about we've reviewed
it. I there's a lot of shows that I kind of touched on, like the He-Man, the animated one. We didn't really talk about it, the CG one, but I felt like we said, so I just chose something completely new because I just discovered it. So
that's true.
Definitely haven't mentioned it. Yeah.
The show that I will talk about that no one is surprised of is Succession.
Is it gonna be Ted Lasso? Succession.
Already,
yeah,
you should be on it. It was
okay. I watched some of that.
But the problem with Succession is that it's like, for you, John, actually probably won't be a problem. For most of us, it's a problem. It's like eating like a very, very, very rich chocolate cake. You can only do like one slice, and then you're like, I need to take a break. And Succession is one of those things. If you watch too much of it in a row, the world is not a cheery, good place after you watch it.
It's like Breaking Bad. You can't binge Breaking Bad all 5 seasons and then just walk outside and go, I love being alive. No, you're fucked.
So that's the same thing with Succession. You can't binge it. It's not recommended. So
how would you describe this show, Stu, to people who have never heard of this show? I know it's a phenomenon now.
It is the power dynamic of siblings who are trying to take over their father's empire, and each of whom have their own prerogative, and they're all screwed up in their own ways. And by watching it, you just deep diver into how much of narcissism and ridiculousness that it is for these people that are very rich trying to take over their father's media empire, and how dumb they are. And then and the simple thing is, if they just work together, they would have it. But the problem is they keep on fighting and infighting. 3 siblings fighting for it, and the 4th one doesn't.
Who's your favorite sibling? Who's your favorite sibling?
Kieran Culkin's character is the best one in my opinion.
Roman.
I know everyone likes.
Is he the quirky guy?
He's the younger tech guy who's like doing a bunch of stuff. I know people would say Jeremy Strong, who is a tremendous actor who plays
Kendall.
Kendall is the one, but I also like Shiv too. Shiv's awesome, but yeah, Roman is my favorite just because he just does the weirdest. He just has so much going on.
I'm all for the Greg and Tom show, because those guys are just
Greg is the younger guy who just like kind of randomly stumbles in, right?
Yeah.
He's like 7 feet
He's pretty
tall.
awesome.
Like an unpaid intern.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an unpaid
He's
intern
funny.
just hanging out.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the guy from Ferris Bueller, and I forget his name already.
Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck, who's incredible. Like again, he's also like he's in it and he's great.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for him to wear a Detroit Red Wings jersey just to make me feel at home. Another show that I can't stop talking about and I recommend to everyone is a TV show, another Haley Steinfeld show, Dickinson. It's an incredible show. It's on Apple TV. It is following the storyline of Emily Dickinson. Haley Steinfeld plays that character, and it's the modern sensibility, modern dialogue, but in period piece clothing and technology. So they're like, the whole show is in that time period, but they're speaking with modern language and modern themes. A lot of really cool cameos and guest actors and whatnot, and it follows the great writer Emily Dickinson as she deals with just the hypocrisy of being a woman and trying to write and no one taking her seriously. So it's 3 seasons. Last season just is wrapping up, so it's an incredible show.
Oh, it's deep then. Yeah, I've never heard. I feel like these Apple TV shows are flying by, and people are missing out on them just because they don't think Apple for streaming service, right?
Yeah, it's 10 episodes a season, so there'll be 30 episodes total. But I think it actually is going to wrap up at the end of December, so the 24th. So anyway, so it's a good watch. So those are my 2 that I'm really enjoying right now. And then Mare of Easttown, of course. I don't have to go into that. Give that woman more awards. She's the best.
I heard that's great. That's like she's like a basketball player who becomes a sheriff or something like that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about movies. What movies, Rob, do you recommend that we haven't reviewed on this show?
Man, this has been
2021.
This has been a tough one because we've watched a lot of things. I've watched a lot of movies, but then to try to remember which ones we watched that weren't talking about the show. Did we talk about Free Guy on the show?
We did. We did a full review on Free Guy.
And we talked about the theater experience too. Like,
so I'm gonna go with so I'm a big fan of Tyler Sheridan, the writer director who is the mastermind behind Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan also wrote the original Sicario. That is a Denis Villeneuve directed movie.
Yep.
He's on a
Sicario
lot of
1, not Sicario 2.
No. Yeah. Hell or High Water is another Taylor Sheridan. Anyways, he wrote a movie called Those Who Wish Me Dead with Angelina Jolie, John Barenthal. It's not bad. Like, it's definitely
a firefighter movie, or she's
right. She plays a fight. Yeah, it's like, but not like it's in the like a forest firefighter, right? In the hills of Montana or something or other. It's a cool movie. It's definitely worth a watch. Like it's fast. It's 90 minutes. You can sit down, you can watch it, you can consume it. You haven't wasted your time watching it. But it is a quick watch and it's a quick burn. Oh, so I did there. But I'm going to say something as well is a new movie that just came out this month in December. It's on Crave right now. It's 8-Bit Christmas with Neil Patrick Harris. I don't know if you guys watched this, but the whole premise is that he's recalling a story to his daughter about what it was like to in the late 80s and the desire and the hunger for getting a Nintendo Entertainment System or an NES for Christmas, and the trials and tribulations that he and his friends did or tried to do to be able to try to get an NES into the house. And so if you're
amazing.
Yeah, if you're a fan of like the Christmas Story, like, you know, with Ralphie and this and that, you take a little bit of that, you put some nostalgia on it, you put the wizard a little bit in there, you throw it in, a little Sandlot action, and you've got yourself a really cool story that's a lot of fun. And again, it's on Crave, so it's not costing you. If you have a membership, it doesn't cost you anything. But it's 8-Bit Christmas, and it's a lot more fun than I expected it to be. So definitely give it a watch.
John, for you, what was your movie of 2021 that we haven't reviewed?
Yeah, so I've been scrolling through my phone trying to look up like what else came out this year. So you already saw these guys funning me for not watching that much, and pretty much everything I watch is for this show or for the Sidekick show. So the winner by default, which I think we've shouted out a couple times, do you guys want to see a review for? It's gonna be Snake Eyes.
You might be one of the biggest doofuses ever.
So Snake Eyes, I saw in theaters with my buddy Pat, and it at the time in the theater, it was okay. Upon reflection of the movie, it's a terrible piece of trash, possibly.
It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse by time.
It's gotten worse in my mind. When you try to describe it to somebody, you're like, oh yeah.
Because even Mortal Kombat was better than that movie, and Mortal Kombat was terrible.
Yeah, but we covered Mortal Kombat. So
I know.
Yeah, so this wins by default. But yeah,
I can't believe it.
Have you seen it, Rob?
I have not, because it's still too expensive for me to rent. I'm waiting for free.
For free in your
Paramount,
streaming. Yeah. So if I start describing it to you and I'm like, yeah, there's Snake Eyes, and he calls himself Snake Eyes.
No, it honestly wouldn't matter to me. I don't even give a shit.
And then he has to fight a giant snake, and then that's when you start going, wait, what does he has to fight a giant snake? What kind of movie is this, right? So I think it has to be that, unless you let me squeeze in Ride the Last Dragon. I think that's the only other movie that I really watched outside of this. Was that this year? Was Ride the Last Dragon?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Great.
You know, the thing about Snake Eyes, John, is that it was the movie that it was in and out of theaters in less than 3 weeks and went right on to video on demand, because it just
I think it was
absolutely
COVID, wasn't it? That was the issue too. They're like,
oh, that's what they said. It was July. It was right around the same time though that Fast 9 came out.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
It's not good.
Ride the Last Dragon.
Ride the Last Dragon, definitely worth watching.
100% worthwhile.
Yeah.
My two are two art house movies. Very slow movies. One is The Green Knight, starring Dev Patel.
We didn't cover that, Rob. We only did trailer action.
Action. It's he is the nephew and just kind of a mess to King Arthur, Knights of the Round, and it's a whole Arthurian legend that actually has been copied and from text from ancient times. Tolkien himself actually wrote his own version of it. He translated it as well. So this is a historical document that's been read upon and transcribed several times. So and it was a really slow but wonderful movie. I liked it a lot. And the other one is Pig with Nicolas Cage,
which just came out on Netflix. It just came out on Netflix, and it is on my watch list.
Just came in.
Oh, sorry, Crave.
Saying that it was really well done.
It is it stars Nicolas Cage as a pig farmer, truffle farmer, who's in the forest in Portland. I think we discussed it. It's the #1 Portland movie because there aren't many movies that are filmed in Portland. And his pig gets stolen and he has to go find that pig. So it's a lot of take-in / dealing with stuff. So it's an incredible movie.
He has a particular set of skills.
It has a particular set of skills, and it's definitely worth the watch. So I would say if you have a chance, again, it's not as actiony as you think. There's wonderful dialogue in it, but I would say Pig with Nicolas Cage. So I'm going to jump first on the comic book thing because I know John's mentioned it, but I'm such a fan, and hopefully John will get the hardcover. my comic of 2021 that I'm enjoying so much is Nightwing right now. So that whole run this year, leaping into the light.
I think it just
I think
came
the
out
trade
this
just
week.
dropped out.
The collection of the hardcover just dropped this week. So
It's awesome. Tom Taylor and Bruno Dundo is the artist.
Don't look at me. I was gonna say Bruno Mars.
I was gonna say Bruno Sammartino, but
perfect. But those of you who don't know, Dick has been endowed with this vast fortune after the tragic death of Alfred. So Dick has moved into Bullhaven, Gotham's most notorious crime-infested neighborhood, and he's using this money and wealth to make it a better place. And the writing, the art, it's an incredible book. So it is my pick for 2021. And if you haven't got a gift for someone, pick that up and give it to someone. It is a great, great read and a great book. So that's my
He's got a real knack for writing these younger characters, and Nightwing finally is getting his due. He kind of had
Nightwing gets his due every 10 years, John. Someone always gets Nightwing,
but,
and then
but hopefully this has got enough traction that I think it's gonna stay. They're not gonna, like the last one. I remember it got cut off because they wanted to kill Batman off and turn Dick Grayson into Batman and all this kind of stuff.
Which was the best.
So
move
this one
still.
definitely.
Best Batman ever.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. And they've managed to tie in a whole bunch of keys as well. So there a bunch of new characters appear and things from Dick Grayson's past start coming up, and the book is on fire right now. So I'm really happy for Nightwing fans. So much so that a lot of people this Christmas came in asking for just Nightwing stuff. So it's cool. They're like, do you have Nightwing action figures? Do you have Nightwing statues? So it's great to see this character, because back in the day it used to be like Robin. I don't know if you remember, it was like Batman, Superman, Flash, Robin, right? Robin was like up there at like the top of all superheroes, right? So it's kind of neat that it's kind of maybe going to cycle around, and maybe they're going to have another kind of big name in there. So yeah, that's an amazing choice too. Yeah, so if everyone's interested, hit me up. The companion book, Superman Son of Kal.
Even if you miss it for the holiday year, birthdays, holiday gifts, if you missed. I know some of us are not going to see family members, so if you can't see them now, buy it, and then when you see them, it's a belated Christmas gift. But John, what's your book of 2021?
Yeah, so same writer is going to continue this trend, and I'm going to pick Dark Knights of Steel, which is basically Justice League set in a medieval setting. Yasmin Petru, whatever, doing the art. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name, so I'll have to add it to the link, or Petruzier or something like that. Doing the art on this. It's a 12-issue maxi series, which features what if basically Superman's parents had crash landed in medieval times, and a couple of tricks are, so spoilers if anyone wants to be completely spoiler free on it, but in the first issue you find out that Kal-El's parents landed with him, so they actually made room in the rocket ship to land with him in this medieval time, and they build a whole empire, and you see other characters appear like Black Lightning. And then another spoiler for the end of the first issue, so anyone who doesn't want to hear this, cover your ears. Bruce Wayne, Batman, who turns out to be kind of like I don't know what the equivalent in Game of Thrones would be, but he's like kind of like the caretaker of Superman. He kind of like is their like top guy, hand of the king or something like that. Is revealed to be a bastard son of Jor-El's. So he becomes like a half brother to Clark, which is completely brand new territory for Superman in this DC lore. So 100% get that. They're only on issue 3 right now. So going into the new year, I'm looking very forward to seeing this world get it. The world is awesome. I can't wait to see if they do animated version of this, if they do action figures, all kinds of stuff. Like the world is just beautiful.
Awesome. Rob?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a comic that I believe volume number 1 just came out a couple weeks ago. John, you'll be able to verify. It's Geiger by
just last week.
Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Listen, these guys are a stellar pairing together. The amount of projects that they've worked on together is astronomical. So essentially it's about this story. It's a post-apocalyptic tale. People are ravaging and trying to find their way of life after a nuclear meltdown or war has destroyed most of the earth, and there's somebody out there who's wreaking some havoc and vengeance. So definitely a cool one. But that would be my runner-up. I'm gonna say my favorite book that I read is actually from the same duo, and that is Batman Earth 1 Volume 3.
Oh yes.
That came out in June, and I would highly recommend it. I know that it's at the shop. It's in hardcover. All the first 2 volumes are just absolutely phenomenal, and this one did not miss a beat whatsoever. I've loved it. I went through and read them all in a row again. It is, you know, there is something. I've said this before about Jeff Johns. He's very, in the last number of years, he's been very hit or miss. You can do, you know, look at Doomsday Clock. You can go even to his Shazam run when he was doing it for a little while. But this, I don't know what it is, his ability to be able to craft and weave a new mythology with pre-existing characters of Batman to make it feel familiar and yet brand new all at the same time. And not like just gross about it is phenomenal. So definitely Batman Year 1 Volume 3 is my book of the year.
I thought you were gonna say Underwater Welder Electric Boogaloo is the book of the year. So I'm just
you know what? When that movie comes out and Ryan Gosling kills it, you guys are going to be coming back to me saying you are so right, man.
Hey, I ordered it in and stocked it because of Rob's glowing recommendation, and I think we've only got 1 copy left. So if you want that,
he only ordered 1 extra copy, but
no, I ordered a stack, Rob, and people actually, I didn't even have to recommend it to them. They actually found it and they were like, "Hey, Underwater Welder, I'm down with this." So yeah, shout outs to Rob and his Underwater Welder Ride or Die Train
and its sequel, Electric Boogaloo. John, tell us what's going on. Where can people find you and online and in the desert of the real?
Yeah. So on YouTube, we just hit 1.5K followers or subscribers. Thank you very much, everybody, for that. So definitely check out all our content on there. Heroes World Online, if you're listening to this via some other method. These guys are lovely enough to help me with all kinds of different fun content and stuff like that. And we have a lot of other contributors, including Andre and Jesse, who do the TGF show, my brother and Pat, who do various other shows that are under construction right now. And of course, Stu, who kind of gets together and does this podcast. And my buddy, Rob, who shows up whenever I call him. So that's awesome. Trailer reactions, all that kind of stuff. So Heroes World Online, that's also going to take you to our socials, our Instagram, our Facebook. All the updates are posted there. New comic releases posted every Monday. And then all the stuff, as we get it in, we're just taking pictures and posting up there. And you can contact us through any of those methods, including the website via email. Whatever you're most comfortable with, we'll get to you. And then if you're listening on this audio Heroes World podcast on iTunes and Spotify and wherever you get your podcast services, Spotify, I believe has added a review method now or some type of ranking method. So definitely leave us a review and give us a rating on that if you can. It would be very much helpful. And then if you're out and about wandering around and you're looking for some last minute gift ideas, hit us up in the Real in Markham, Ontario, 8601 Warden Avenue. Tons of stuff in our plaza, tons of stuff on our shelves. If you can't make it in, I can set it up and I can mail some special packages for you guys. So if you have someone that needs something, let me know and we'll make it happen and come in and see all the wonderful books, including Underwater Welder, including Nightwing hardcover volume 1, including Dark Knights of Steel issues 1, 2, and 3, all kinds of fun stuff. So thank you everybody for always sharing and supporting. It's been fantastic. Thank you to these lovely gentlemen here with me right now, always supporting us and giving us all this great content.
Rob, where can we find you?
So John and I also we co-host. I'm just the balls to John's big wang on the Heroes World.
I don't want to be a
show.
part of this metaphor.
Is this all of a sudden an ad for an electric razor?
It's Manscaped.
Oh, man.
Did we get a Manscaped ad, or that we didn't realize what's going on here?
Wish.
Rob?
We do the Heroes World Sidekick show, seen Monday nights at 8:15 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We if you haven't tuned into it yet, you should definitely give it a go. You know, usually John and I we do some brackets on movies. We review a bunch of movies. We talk about news of the week. John runs down things that are new in the store, but the magic is always with the interaction with you, the the viewer live on Monday nights when we're usually
Sometimes
reviewing a
you'll find
movie.
Stu in there classing up the place.
That's right. Yes, we've done actually. My memories on Facebook came back, John, and this time last year we were just finishing off our worst comic book movie bracket. Since that time, we've done an 80s action movie bracket, and an 80s sci-fi movie bracket. So things are in motion for 2022. So you definitely want to have your notification bell or subscribe and watch us on Monday nights. Depending on when you're watching this, you're going to be wondering, great, I might tune in on Monday the 27th. Well, much like Dante from Clerks, I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be somewhere else. And as it turns out, I'm in town. So John and I are just finalizing if we're going to have a show on the 27th. I imagine we will. John's very giddy to start off a whole new bracket of things. So you know what? Maybe it'll be like the pre-show. You definitely want to tune in to kick off 2022 with on the 27th. So join us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We'll do that one at 8 o'clock on Monday.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us again. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe, all those fun things.
Is Hawkeye the top? Is it your favorite? Is it the bottom?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Where does it lie? And let us know.
What did we not cover that we should cover?
And is John correct? Is Hawkeye the best movie of 2021? Let us know in the comments. So thank you for joining us. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.